So we have just started on YouTube, and I would like to celebrate the milestone that we've already reached. I believe it's important along the way that we stop and recognize when we have successes. Today I want to share with you 3 quick tips and also 3 warnings that I believe will be helpful to you. And then also at the end I'm going to share a bonus for those that hang around for the end of the video. I want to talk to you a little bit about my story. I've been a public speaker since the early 80s, so almost for 4 decades. I've been speaking in various venues, public and private, large crowds and small. But I'll be honest with you, I've done very little video. I've been on television programs, I've done some radio, but as far as recording video, it's just not something that I've been involved in. And I want you to understand there's a large learning curve. So in my case, making sure I had equipment, some lighting, cameras. Obviously you can use your iPhone or your Android, or you could pick up a camera, but just becoming familiar with the various tools that are needed, then obtaining those various tools, the equipment, learning how to use it. And you know, it's an accomplishment sometimes to get the things gathered. It's easy to become overwhelmed and not record a video. You got to put content up ultimately. So without really video background, in fact, after my first video, someone said, "Who's doing your editing for you?" Well, I'm doing it myself. So just sort of learning as I go. I'm really enjoying that. It's very exciting. And we already have 107 subscribers. We've had 528 views, and we have 90 likes. So I'm really excited, and I'd like to thank everyone who's helped to share in that success with us. I believe that you can do this, but it's much like anything else. And there's some biblical principles here that really apply, particularly if you're a Christian ministry, maybe you're a teacher or a Christian leader, and you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel yourself, a faith-based channel. I think that the biblical principles really apply here directly. If you set out to build a tower, you got to count the cost to make sure you're going to be able to finish it. Very similar here. Easy to become overwhelmed and discouraged, so you have to make a decision you're going to move forward, and you got to press through those tough times. But let me jump in and share some tips that I think will be helpful, and 3 quick warnings. And I think I'll start today with the warnings. Warning number 1. Growth isn't automatic. It is not guaranteed. I'm sure some of us assume that if we were to take some of the content, some of the information that we have in our heads, and we put it up on YouTube, that our family and our friends and maybe even the masses would be interested in that content. Possibly so, but let me suggest that there's a little bit more that goes into promoting a video and gathering an audience who's willing to listen and actually subscribe and participate with you in your endeavor. So don't assume that this is going to be easy. If anything that's of value, it's going to cost you something. There's a price to be paid here. And I would warn you to go into this very seriously, but recognize that the rewards to be gained are tremendous. And keep that in mind as you contemplate. The second warning is that there's a learning curve. The learning curve for those of us particularly who are a little bit older. Now, I have 8 grandchildren, and I'm amazed that all of them, even the 3-year-old twins, almost seem to be little social media experts. Watching their different programs and navigating through their phones and their iPads and understanding how to do this and do that, it boggles my mind. It's something that they're familiar with. They've grown up with it. It's something that we didn't have as we grew up. Even cell phones weren't readily available. Certainly not when we were in junior high or high school. Didn't really become available until some years after that. So we need to embrace the challenge of learning the technologies that are going to be necessary to be effective. And I want you to understand it's like anything else. You can learn them. You definitely can just through practice, a little bit of information, whether you learn it online, whether you go to YouTube itself and get your training there, whether someone helps you, whether you read books, you can learn everything necessary to be successful in developing your own channel, developing your own pages in various social media applications. So be willing to learn new tricks. How many times do we meet people that just say, well, I'm just not going to try, I'm not interested? I would discourage you from taking that point of view and go ahead and move forward. That's the second. And then the third warning is beware of discouragement. I know after I put my first video together, first of all, just to record the video itself was difficult. I've done a lot of teaching, as I mentioned, over the years. I have reams of notes. I've spoken publicly to hundreds and thousands of people on many, many occasions. But to stand in front of a camera by myself, with or without notes, and to deliver content, it's very challenging. I listen to other speakers and I think, wow, I could share something along that line, and my mind is filled with various content that I could share, how I would order it, what kind of challenge I would bring, etc. When you sit down to do it, it's pretty tough. It's difficult, and it's easy after getting a video done and then sitting down at a computer to edit it, realizing, wow, this is a lot of work. Well, I heard people talk about it. Well, you know, take a couple hours to put a video together, then a couple hours to edit it, and then put it up, and then you've got to promote it. And well, as you're involved in each of those steps, they can be daunting. And sometimes you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I want to encourage you, don't become discouraged. You can do it. You can meet each of these obligations that will be necessary to get your content up on YouTube. And let me just say, have you tried yet? If you try, and if you'll stay focused, you can do it. When you run into problems along the way, and believe me, you will, it might be the simple problem of just how to use social media to promote your video, promote your content. Evaluate your problem. Be willing to address it. Be willing to work through it because the answers are out there, and then move on. And you'll find that you're going to pick up knowledge and that you're going to become successful in this process. If this is something that you feel called to do and you think that you really have a future in, I encourage you to move forward in it. Now, finally, I'd like to share 3 tips with you who are interested in growing your YouTube channel. You want to reach that 100 subscriber mark. You might ask why. Why is 100 subscribers important? It probably didn't used to be. But YouTube has some new rules, and one of them is, in order to have your channel recognized and for you to be eligible to have your own URL. You say, what's a URL? Well, it stands for Uniform Resource Locator. It means a web address. In order for you to have your own web address with the name of your particular focus, you need to have 100 subscribers. So for example, the name of our channel is Essential Christianity. When I searched for that, when I was thinking of starting a channel, it was available. However, had I put up a video and not been able to gain subscribers, someone else could have also been using that same name possibly, and ultimately, if they had more than 100 subscribers, might have been able to take that name from me or to be recognized under that name, and then I would have had to add some other letters or numbers or change the name altogether. So that 100 subscriber goal is very important. All right, so let's start with number 1. To reach your goal and to grow your channel, I would encourage you to start with friends. Start with friends. We all have them. I'm going to categorize them this way. You have VNPs, VIPs, and VRPs. And there are others as well, but particularly these. You have VNPs, very nice people in your life. And I would call the nice people in your life your friends. This is family. These are people that you could go to and you could say, hey, I'm starting a YouTube channel and I really need your help. Would you be willing to watch my video? And if you like it, will you press the like button, and will you subscribe? And these people generally will do that for you. Some of them don't already have a Gmail account, and they'll be willing to open an account. Some of them have Gmail, but they don't use YouTube, but you'll be able to encourage them, and they'll go and do that. Many people did that for me, and I really appreciate that. Those are your VNPs. And then there's the VIPs. VIPs are very important people. Those are people in your life that are more than friends or family. They are certainly probably friends, but they also have a significant investment in your life, and they're willing probably to help promote you. VIPs will not only watch your content and like it and subscribe, they will promote it to others. I had a number of friends who told me, hey, I took your link and I pasted it into my email list, or I sent it to everyone in my Facebook page, or I shared it at work. Those are VIPs, and we all have them, and those people are great. They not only will support you, but they'll go beyond and promote you. And then finally, there's the VRPs. Those are the very resourceful people in your life. Those are mentors. Those are people that you look up to. Some of the people maybe you watch on YouTube, you'd like them to be your VRPs. Maybe you don't have a close relationship yet. But VRPs are very resourceful people. These are the individuals that you learn a lot from. And it's important for you to ask the VRPs in your life. It may be your colleagues, it may be your pastor, it may be a denominational leader. If we're talking from a Christian perspective, it could be someone who has a lot of influence that you look up to, and you need them not just to promote you to others, you need their input. You need them to take a look at your content, to listen, and to feed back to you. Those are the kind of people that I talk to, all these different groups. I asked family and friends. I asked the very important people in my life who actually promoted me. And I went to individuals that I look up to, I consider as mentors to me, and I asked them to look. I didn't ask them for their influence, but I asked them for their help. It's the same concept as in business, where you ask someone to listen to your presentation, listen to your vision statement, and then maybe give you input and help you find other people that might respond positively to that same message. So that's a really important place to start, with your friends. Now, I utilized Facebook, and this is unique. And some of you are going to say, well, I don't use Facebook. I'm really not in social media. Well, let me just tell you, YouTube is social media. So if you're not going to be involved in social media, then you really probably don't want to get involved on YouTube. If you do, you probably really want to take a hard look at Facebook and at Instagram and some of these other sites, and as I have done, join those and start promoting yourself there too. And here's how I started. I decided, well, I'm going to do a YouTube channel. Then I should also do a Facebook business page for my channel title, which is Essential Christianity. So I didn't just have the Jim Shadler presence on Facebook, but I also had Essential Christianity, and it was available. So I grabbed that, and so if you typed www.facebook.com/Essential Christianity, my page comes up, which is great. And of course, I've put content there, I put some verses up, and I put my video on there once I started. But before I even got to the YouTube channel, what I did is I started inviting my friends on my Facebook page to go over and take a look at Essential Christianity and to like it or to follow it. 540 people said, yes, we're interested, we like it, and they're following on Essential Christianity. I invited those people, all of them, to look at my first YouTube post, my first content. And as a result, I've got 107 people that have signed up as subscribers. I've got many likes, as I mentioned earlier, and I'm on my way. So just yesterday, I was able to go in and enable my URL. And it is the name Essential Christianity, so I could grab my name. So now if you were to search for me, you could go to www.youtube.com/Essential Christianity, and boom, there you have my content, my videos, they'll all be right there. So I'm really excited about that. recognized by YouTube, and also a presence in Facebook. So start with your friends. And you don't have to follow that plan exactly, but that is a way, to utilize social media. And I did also start posting on Instagram, just faith-related, positive, inspirational messages. And it's amazing. I posted something several weeks ago, and yesterday and today, I got several dozen people that I don't know that responded and liked the post, which was basically a post honoring God. And that's amazing. And I've also had the opportunity through both Instagram and Facebook to witness or to share my faith in Jesus Christ and my belief in the good news with people in a number of countries. Already I'm interacting with someone north of Tel Aviv. I'm interacting with someone in Pakistan. I'm talking with someone in Africa. I'm talking with several people in Russia. It's amazing that these doors open. So if we're going to present the good news to not just people groups, but every creature before Christ comes, why not use social media to do it? And I'm convinced that's why some of you are probably watching this video right now, is you're interested in starting your own YouTube faith-based channel. And I just say God bless you, and Godspeed to you to get that done. That's number one, start with friends. Number two is join people in your niche. And your niche is that area of focus, that specialty area. So if you're going to be in the faith-based community, then reach out to people, join people, get involved through communities and forums and discussions and blogs. And on YouTube, start subscribing to other channels that are faith-based that you enjoy, and leaders that you like. Start listening, start commenting, and start getting involved and learning from others that are already working in this area. But also, basically, you're just networking like you would if you were starting a business. You'd go to a network group and you'd let people know who you are and what you do, and you give them your thumbnail, your elevator speech. You sort of are doing the same thing. So you're reaching out and you're learning from people around you who are maybe a step or two ahead or maybe way ahead. Sometimes you'll reach out and people won't respond because, they're leading tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers. It's really quite amazing. And some of the great messages of Christianity, some of the great pastor teachers, you can hear on YouTube, and you'll see that there's over millions of views of some of their content. It's just phenomenal when you contemplate how that message still resonates, and people will pick up something that's years old, not just months old. And obviously fresh content is important too. So join these different groups. They're readily available to you. You can look on Facebook, and you can go to the forums or the communities, and you can type in Christianity and you'll get a list. Or you can type in faith, or you can really focus in on the areas you're interested in. I went to Google+. Now Google+, there's a transition taking place, and it's not going to exist after, I believe it's March or April, but something will replace it. But I went on Google+, and I went to the Christian discussion areas, and I found, I would say, well, there's dozens, but I found about 10 different groups that I actually joined. And one of my criteria is I wanted active groups. So you'll find a group that maybe has 20,000 people, but nobody's active. So you want to look at not just the membership, but you want to see how many people are active in any given moment. And those are people you could interact with. You could actually start a dialogue. It's quite amazing. And some of those people will end up supporting you and liking your video content and actually subscribing. All right, so Google+, Facebook, there are other places that you could go. Now let me just mention two really important, prevalent aspects to doing YouTube videos. Number one is content, and number two is quality. You can do everything right. You can have equipment, and you can put up video, and you can promote, and you can be on Facebook, and you can do Instagram, and you can tell people to go watch your video. But if your content isn't good, and if your quality is poor, I've got news for us. We're not going to get very far. So remember how important it is. Think through what it is you're putting up and make sure it's helpful and encouraging. I want to inform people. I want to educate people, but I want to be inspirational. We all know there's enough channels on YouTube, and there's enough places where you can hear negative comments, where you can hear why everybody's wrong. I remember when I used to lead a local church, we talked about right doctrine was our doctrine. Whatever we believe, that's right, and what everybody else believed was wrong. You can find plenty of places today where basically everybody else is wrong. That's not what we need today. We need informative, inspirational teaching that helps people and that draws people to God. That's really important, I believe. So quality and content. Number 3 is support new tubers. The third tip, support new tubers, not just YouTubers. Support other people that are starting out. One of the greatest ways that you ultimately can get your foot in the door and get established is be a servant to somebody else. You know, these are just simple principles that we would implement in our lives. We know that it's right. We know that we should. And if you'll do that in social media, I think you're going to find that you're going to be accepted, well received, and others will help you too. So don't be unwilling to help others. It's so easy to just have this attitude of, well, you help me first and then I'll help you. No, you help and I'll help first. And then others, well, some will help us too. And that'll be great. So in supporting new tubers, let me tell you, it's really important. Don't spam. Don't just send out spam messages and just try to put the word out about yourself with your link. That doesn't do anybody any good. I listened to actually a YouTube video that said, you know, here's what you do. You go to, you know, the top content providers in your niche. So for me, it would be, you know, some great Bible teachers, and go in there and be one of the first ones to comment on their video when they release new content, and engage them and really brag on that person. Tell them how much they mean to you, how inspirational they've been in your life, and really try to engage them, and hopefully they'll respond to you, and drop your link in there and let them know that you, because you're so inspired, you're also starting a channel. And then the person said, go to Google and create some fictitious email accounts. And if you're fortunate enough to have the person that you're watching their content who's already recognized, if they respond to your comment, then take your fake accounts and have those fake people make comments and get a discussion going, and you get all this momentum. Don't do that. Don't do that. Honesty is the best policy. Be yourself, be honest, be sincere. So you don't need to create fictitious or accounts for people that don't exist. Watch people's videos. Like them if they're good. Subscribe if you want to help them. Make a comment, that will help them. And stay in touch. This is how you really can grow your channel. Start with your friends, join people in your niche, and support new tubers. Now, as I mentioned, I said I would give a little bonus. Here's the bonus today. That is, if you're willing to get started, I'm willing to help you. If you're going to start something in the faith-based area, and I'm not going to limit it to that. If you're putting something up that's wholesome and helpful, I would be happy to subscribe to your channel. So just you can put your link in the comments, or you can send me a message. I'm happy to respond to it. You can email me at info@essentials.org, info@essentials.org, and let me know you're starting a channel, and I will go and watch your content. I'll watch it all the way through. I'll like it as long as it's appropriate, and I'll also subscribe, and I'll be one of the first to help you get going. So, well, I'm really excited about this opportunity to present the good news of Jesus Christ through social media. And I want to pray, because I believe someone is probably listening, watching right now, who's thinking about doing this, and what you needed today was just a little bit of encouragement. You can do this. If you'll focus your attention, you can do this, and there'll be plenty of others that will help you. But I'll tell you this, God will help you. You have a pure heart, and you want to do it to forward His kingdom. Before I do, I just want to share one quick story. I mentioned before you could become discouraged, that there are challenges to overcome. But there's some great things that happen along the way. It was just a couple days ago that my daughter, who spoke with me about one of my grandsons, he's 6 years old, and he happened to be watching my video content with his mom. And he couldn't believe that his grandpa was on on YouTube. Of course, they watch YouTube regularly in different programs, entertainment for children and educational programs. And he was so surprised to see me. Well, one of my daughter's neighbors called her and said, Parker was over at the house, and I overheard him talking with her son, and they were talking about Parker's grandpa, that Parker's grandpa is on YouTube. And Parker was so excited. My grandson was just really excited to share that. And his little friend, also a kindergartner, was like, "Your grandpa's on YouTube?" And it was like, I was a star in the minds of these two 6-year-olds. That was really exciting to me. And there's so many wonderful things that are in our future as we take advantage, as we learn and as we grow, and as we endeavor to continue to share the message of Jesus Christ. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we are excited to have the opportunity to use whatever media, whatever means. We want to become all things to all people, that by all means we could save some, as the Apostle Paul said in Corinthians. And so we ask that you would show us how to use social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, maybe some social mediums that haven't even been created yet, and raise up an army of people and give them your favor to share your message to every ethnic group and to every creature, that people groups as well as individuals would come to a knowledge of the truth, the message of Jesus Christ, that God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him doesn't have to perish, will not perish, but will have everlasting life. Lord, we want to share that message, and we ask for your favor and your strength and your resources to do so in the name of Jesus. Amen.